Hi, my name's Brian. My life kind of was filled with the typical things, drugs, alcohol, trouble. Growing up, I never heard the word love in our family. It just didn't exist. And, we moved from place to place because of my dad's job. And, subsequently, going from different schools, there was always a lot of fights. And I, came to kind of embrace that. And all throughout my life, anything devastating that took place, it was always God's fault. And every time I blamed God, I got angrier and just more hatred in my soul. And then, my dad, I got the news that he had brain cancer. And this came in November. And then in probably February the next year, he was dead. And I was holding him when he took his last breath. I can't explain the hatred that I had in my heart. It was just so hardened. It was like a stone. It was like a rock. And from that point on, I wanted nothing to do with God. God was out of my life, and I gravitated toward everything that was dark. I took my family and I said, I'm going to move out, towards Silver Lake. I figured it was secluded. I was on 6 acres, only a couple homes, no one's going to talk to me, which was perfect. At that point, I didn't like very many people, and I didn't really care if they liked me. So we move out there, everything's kind of hunky-dory, and I'm working out in my yard. And I see this fella coming over. He says, hi, I'm Trevor, I'm your new neighbor. Anything I can do to help? So I said, no, I got it under control. Thanks. I figured I'm pretty short with it. That was a hint, don't come back. No, not Trevor. Not only did he keep coming back, he started fixing things at my house. I'd come home from work and my son's bike was fixed. I'd come home and my lawnmower was fixed. I couldn't get it. This guy always had a smile on his face. He asked me one day if I knew Jesus. And based on everything that had happened in my life, that wasn't a conversation that I was about to get into right at that point, and I didn't think ever. And as the months went on, an amazing thing happened. My heart started to soften. That rock that I thought there's no way that sucker was ever going to be moved or it was ever going to crack, it started to crack. And I started feeling a peace in my life. So one day I'm riding my motorcycle by the biker church. And I don't know what it was, but I was overwhelmed with this feeling that I just had to go stop into this church. I actually drove by. And it just was so strong. I know now that it was the Holy Spirit, but at the time it was like this itch that I had to scratch. So let me scratch it and get it over with. So I go into this church, and about a year and a half later, I was baptized, and I surrendered my life to Christ. If God can take this rock, this hardened heart that I had, and not just move it, crumble it into dust, and open up my heart, soften it to this big old jelly full of love, that imagine what he can do for anybody, and all they have to do is just ask. It's that simple. Really, they just got to reach out and ask him to come in, and he'll come. It's that simple.